All right, I really got a great interview today. This is pretty intense. This interview. This was you all definitely one of my favorite adult entertainers, and I think plenty of people can say that. I have with me today Sara Jay. How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for that great interview.
No problem. So let's see. I started my podcast about a year and a half ago, and I really wanted it to be not mainstream. I wanted it to be like kind of people that will really want to know about behind the scenes. And the first people I thought of was like, oh, I got to get a couple of adult entertainers on because people would love to know behind the scenes. So basically, all the questions are going to be like that.
Okay.
So the first question I'm going to ask you is pretty simple. Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Ah, okay. Are you a Reds fan?
Uh, I mean, just because they're like the hometown team, but I'm not like a big fan of like anybody, honestly. I don't really watch those.
Because there's that famous picture of you with the Mets shirt on and the Mets
Yeah,
hat.
there's, you know what? I will wear your team shirt if you send it to me.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like yeah, I've got tons and tons of sport team shirts, and fans love to see me in them. So send me your shirt, I'll wear it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your childhood like?
Mm, I grew up. I'm an only child, and I grew up with my mom and dad until I was 11, and then my parents got divorced. And
Mhm.
around that time, I started working, and I worked at a bar and as a dishwasher in the kitchen.
At 11 years old, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Not like I wasn't. It sounds crazy, but it's like I almost have to explain it because it wasn't as crazy as it sounds. Like I was a straight A student, and I would sit in the bar where my parents would drink, and I would do my homework. And when I was done doing my homework, I had like nothing to do. There was like a video game. There was a convenience store. That was
Mhm.
about it. Like I walked to the convenience store, I'd go to the video game. So they needed somebody to wash dishes, and they were like complaining like that the dishwasher had walked out or whatever. And I was like, oh, I can wash dishes. It's fine.
Okay.
And I started that way. And my mom was like, as long as you get, you maintain your grades and no problems or anything, you can keep your job.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Now, when you were washing dishes at this bar, were your parents still together or they're divorced? They were divorced by that point.
At first they were together, and then it was like a little rocky moment. So shortly after that, they split up. Yeah.
Did you keep a good relationship with dad or no?
No, I never had a good relationship with him, even when
Mm.
he lived in the house. Like I was the one who asked for them to get divorced because
Wow.
yeah, it wasn't like healthy for anybody. And I felt like I was like the third party that was like looking in very closely, and I was like, y'all need to stop this. This is silly.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, that is profound. That's for sure. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
So you're working and you're 11 years old. And then did you finish school? Did you finish high school?
Yeah, I finished high school. Like I got, honor roll like the whole time I was in school. And I even was on track to finish school early. But then like we had to move like my junior year to like the other part of town. So I had to like move school districts. They didn't let me finish school early. But that means like my whole senior year was like dick off. I just like did nothing like my whole
Hmm.
senior year thing. Like I don't remember taking like a solid class my senior year.
Now, did you wind up going to college or once you finished school, that was it?
Yeah, like I started out at University of Cincinnati, and I majored in psychology. And
So did I actually. See those 2 degrees on the back of my wall?
hey,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I shovel shit in New York City sewer system. So money well spent.
right. Okay, so now I'm glad we're on the same page
Right.
because this is what happens, like, and I didn't want to be a psychiatrist. I didn't want to be a doctor. I wanted to be a counselor and talk to people and help people.
Hmm.
And so I'm going to college full time. I'm working 4 jobs at this point because
Wow.
I'm living on campus. And I, I'm like sleeping like an average of like 3 hours a night. And then I would take like one day and sleep like for like 10 hours.
Now, what kind of jobs did you have?
So like at that time, I was a coat check girl at a nightclub, and
Okay.
I was a waitress,
Okay.
and I did telephone customer service
Oh
for
my God.
better department stores,
Okay.
and I also did telephone surveys.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Like so back in the day, like there was a lot of like people had home phones. First of all, you had
Yeah,
to have a home phone. We didn't call cell phones.
that's right. That's right. So yeah, what year was this? Like the late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, no, yeah, like 90. I graduated in 96, so this
Okay.
is like 97, 98.
Right, 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 right. Yeah,
Right.
they were big back then, those things. I did that for a year or so when I was in high school.
I used to love it. It was
I,
like I loved it. It was like the job I did Saturday morning after working all night, Friday night, the night before, because
Mhm.
it was like borderline mindless. You just read the screen, and we
Right.
didn't have a dress code. We come in to this big call center. There was no dress code. You just sit at your little terminal, put your little headset on, read the screen, hit the button, read the
Yeah.
screen, hit the button. It was great for like a
Yeah,
hangover.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. So now, did you finish college or no?
So I dropped out. Okay, that was where I was going. So I dropped out because what I ended up doing is I'm like working all four of those jobs.
Mhm.
And one of them is in a nightclub where I meet my soon to be husband. And he suggests that I cut back on all these jobs because I'm like killing myself. He sees me like, doing way too much. And he suggests I start stripping. Well, I'd never even thought about stripping before. I didn't know any strippers. I didn't know any strip clubs were even. Like
Mhm.
it's not something that's real, like, or at least at the time was like a popular subject in
Yeah, right.
you know? So I started checking it out and I was like, I could totally do that. Sure. Like,
So your husband was the one that recommended that you work at a strip club.
yeah,
And
yeah.
are you guys still together today?
No, we're divorced.
Okay. All
But
right.
yeah, so like I was like, okay, cool. And then I started cutting back all the jobs, right? And
Mhm.
then after I took a minute, I found out like what at that time, the current annual salary for a counselor, like a high school counselor was, right?
Mhm.
And then I did the math on how much I was making. And I'd already been working that job like over a year. So like I could see that this is something just by looking around me, I see that the adult industry is something that people can do for a long time, no
Mhm.
matter like what level or area you do it in. So like, there's older people around me. I'm a young person in a like there's a lot of older people around me. And I'm like, okay. And I started doing the math and I was like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
I got student loans and all this stuff for college, and I'm going to have to pay all that back. My student loans are going to be like equivalent to probably like a year of salary, which is at the time was like $35,000. Like I already was still like living on my own and kind of I don't want to say I was struggling, but like I wasn't like I wasn't super comfortable. Like,
No, I understand. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, like it's not like you're driving, a Mercedes or something with
Right.
that with or late '90s stripper money out of Indiana or
Yeah.
Kentucky. Like you're driving like a really nice like expedition or like
Yeah, you're making money. You're making money basically.
making money, but you're
Yeah.
not making a lot of
Yeah,
money.
right, 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 right.
Yeah, it's
That
like
is one of my pet peeves is when I'm at a strip club and a girl and one of the dancers tells me that she's in college and she's just doing this to work through college. And I'm like, yeah, no, you're not. You're gonna make 3 times the amount of money you're doing this now.
right. No, and that exactly. And honestly, like I was like, what am I doing? Like I
Mm,
really like this adult industry stuff. This is great. I have no moral hangups about it at all. I don't feel weird. I don't feel funny. It doesn't make me feel negative, which I think is something to be like very aware of
mhm.
because it does for a lot of people.
Yeah, you
You know,
embraced it. So you embraced it immediately.
not everybody can do what I do.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
A lot of girls
and
cannot embrace it.
sounds, not everybody can do what I do. So I was like, this doesn't bother me at all. I can totally do this.
Okay.
And my thought was that I was going to be like a traveling stripper slash like print model, like maybe be in some magazines and stuff.
Okay.
That was my first like thought plan kind of thing.
Okay.
And I ended up moving to Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the big reason, my whole process there is like I started making really good money in Indiana, which was next to a casino, like a
Mm.
riverboat casino. And I was
Okay.
like, ooh, the casino and the strip club. This is a really great combination. Like,
That's
where
right.
else can I find that? And so then I moved to Vegas.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you moved to Vegas, and what year is it around?
Let's see, like I'm 20 at the time, so probably like 97, 8. Yeah.
Okay. So you moved to Las Vegas and you start dancing over there?
Actually, it had to be like 98, 99 now that I
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started dancing like right away.
Okay.
Dancing like right away. And I was like a little like sad about it because I wasn't really making that much more money. Because back home, I was like a big fish in a small pond, and now I'm a small fish in a really big pond.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
So when you balance out like the change in the cost of living and stuff, I was still like on the same level of life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
like
also in Vegas, the 90s in Las Vegas was going through a transition. I don't know if that affected you at all either. It went from organized crime to corporations during the 90s tremendously.
Yeah, I think when I got there, you know what? I'm so bad with dates, and now I'm thinking about it. Was like, no, we moved there in '99.
Okay.
We
Okay.
definitely moved there in the end of '99.
All right.
So yeah, I don't know. It was pretty much like already like corporations. I think by the time that I got there,
Okay.
like I don't really remember. The only mafia I remember really like coming across is Mexican mafia. There was
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. So now, how do you break into adult entertainment? How'd you break into that from Las Vegas?
Work started stressing me out because now, like, okay, I am a small fish in a big pond. It's like I've got to work harder, and there's so many more people to deal with. And believe it or not, nobody would believe this. I am not the greatest with people, like especially crowds, like, and dealing with all these people was like very stressful to me. Like there was a lot more customers, there was a lot more girls, there was a lot more management, there was just like always people around, like I don't know. It caused me a lot of stress. There was always some sort of drama, there's some kind of problem, some girl passed out, some customer got robbed, like just something, it was just like, geez. And at this point, I'm getting into like closer to like mid 20s, and I'm like, I don't want this high school kind of drama all the time, Like, okay, I would really like to exit out of this situation, but how do I do that?
Right.
Now you're making money that people need to go to school to make usually.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like most people that make that kind of money had to get like a skill or something. They had to learn how to do something.
Right. Yeah. A trade, a skill. Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? What's the thing? And I was like, I really like this adult industry. And at the time, my husband and I, we seemed to be fine with everything.
Okay.
But also, I was really young when I met him. I was 19, so like I was kind of looking to like explore my sexuality a little bit more, to be honest.
Yeah.
With you. And I wanted to do it safely and in a way that like we could all like benefit from it.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I was like, well, like I knew some girl that had done porn from the strip club, and not well, but like I kind of knew her. And then like I had one of his relatives kind of had like a little porn addiction. And so like I wasn't really like into porn myself. Like I didn't really watch it, but like I was always taking him to the porn shop.
Okay.
And I was, it's not a bad idea.
Right.
I mean, they look like they're having fun. I look at the back of the boxes and I'm like, they look like they're having a good time. I want to do that. And like, I'm pretty sure my husband definitely does not want to do that. You know what? I'm just like, yeah. So I'm going to try to do that. So I asked him one day, I was like, hey, can I be a porn star? And he was just like, do what you want. I was like, thanks.
Wow. Yeah, that's a special husband, that's for sure.
He was very confident. Like he was a very strong, confident man, you know.
Okay.
And I think even if he was like upset about any of that stuff, he didn't want to be. So he wasn't gonna, stop me from being the person that I wanted to be.
Right. So now you break into this uh uh okay, so now you meet people in the industry, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah,
So
I
what
worked
was good?
actually. It's kind of a funny story if you have a second.
No, go
Like I
ahead.
took Polaroid pictures. Like my husband took these Polaroid pictures of me because I love telling the story because the technology is so like it feels like it was 100 years ago.
Yeah, right.
He literally takes some Polaroid pictures of me. I take the Polaroid pictures to the library because I don't have a scanner to scan the
Oh
Polaroids
my
in.
God, I remember that.
Take them to the library and I get one of the little cubby holes in the back of the library, set up the computer, and I put them in the scanner. And I brought my own floppy disk.
Oh God, I remember that. Yeah,
And
that's right.
yeah, the hard floppies, like the small ones, not the old floppy
Ah, yeah,
floppies.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So like I put the Polaroids onto the disc, and then I take that. I get out of there really quick because I was trying to hurry, you know. So
Yeah,
I take that home to my computer, which is like an ancient computer also,
right.
and I take that computer and I start emailing. I just start. Well, first of all, I start typing in web addresses, right, like hustler.com, and then I would look and see if there was an email address for any photographer or any like director, anybody, editor, anybody associated with anybody. And then I would
Hmm.
go to like house.com, playboy.com, vivid.com, wicked.com. I would go to all these sites that were like popular back then.
Hmm.
Not that the site was popular, but the companies were popular. The sites
Right.
were literally like informational sites back then. Nobody was really doing too much to like sell porn online. So
Hmm.
you would like go to the hustler.com and it would have like the latest magazine covers, and
I
like the
remember,
latest
sure.
stuff like that. So yeah, I just scoured like all these magazines and stuff and just looked for email addresses. And then I sent those pictures out to every email address I could find. And I got a hold of this photographer who was based out of New York. And his name was Mike Hammer, and he was actually the one that produced the Exotic Dancer Award show that was in Las Vegas. So when
Mm.
he came to Las Vegas, he hit me up and he was like, I got your email. And if, he's like, I don't, I'm not like big in the game, but I'll introduce you to the people that I know.
Okay.
All I needed.
And that was it. So
That's it.
what was your first project?
So the first thing I did was probably like before that with the girl from the strip club. She had
Ah,
connected with my first scene, and I forget what her name was, but anyway, she connected. I think Celeste. She connected me with my first scene, and but whoever casted me. I'm a new person, and the guy was new also, and
mm,
that was a horrible idea. You don't ever do that. Like you don't ever do that. And
yeah.
then he couldn't get his dick to work, so I was so hyped up, like I was like ecstatic, which probably also made him more nervous.
Yeah.
But like he was like so ready.
That's
And then
one of my questions, but we'll talk about that a little later.
yeah, the next one that actually came out though was I think it also was through that girl Celeste because it was in Las Vegas and it was called 18 and Eager. And that was pretty funny too because I didn't watch porn.
Right.
Still didn't really get the concept of what I was supposed to be doing,
Hmm.
you know? So in my mind, a porn star is the best fucker.
Okay.
They're the ones that are doing the best job at fucking.
Okay.
But that's not all a porn star does. We have to like be aware of the camera and the lights, and we have to be aware of time and positioning and stuff like this, right? And so like I get in there, and I'm supposed to like start out sucking this guy's dick when he gets out of the shower. Like I am doing such a great job. I am killing it. I'm like, gawk with the drool, and he busted the nut like
Oh,
within 2 minutes. And I didn't realize that I was like, yay! And they were
yeah.
like, oh, we still got to do this all over again now.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Okay, so here's a couple of questions that you break into this world. What kind of reaction do you get from friends and family?
Um, so I don't have a whole lot of family. I've got like my mom and my stepdad,
Hmm.
and yeah, they really focus on the fact that like I'm good, I'm kind, I'm nice, and I've remained the same type of like humble person that I've always been, you know, and that's what's most important to them. Um, and then like as I become successful, my mom has really been able to, my mom and my dad have really been able to um, take pride in like all the hard work that I do. They see how hard I work. You know, I just bought them a house. You know,
Wow.
so
Yeah, yeah.
it's like
Now this is your
they
stepdad?
yeah, it's my stepdad and my
Okay.
mom. Yeah. And, you know, so they see like how hard I work and that I have goals and I reach them and that I enjoy what I'm doing and that I've made quite a career out of it, you know,
Hmm.
and they're proud of me for it, you
Oh,
know, and
okay,
it's important
good. So
for
now
them
you're
that
when
I have
you
success.
break into the industry, you're at this point you have no relationship with your father, with your real biological father?
No, yeah, no.
Okay, so
I,
you.
I like, I actually, with my biological father, he was a bad person,
Hmm.
and we like my mom and I like we hung out all the time, and like my dad never wanted to be near us. Like he would lock himself away, so like I didn't even get to know him really, to be honest with
Mm,
you,
okay.
even though we all lived in the same house.
Right.
And then like he would beat my mom, and like he was just
Oh,
like not a great person.
yeah.
But even with that being said, when my parents got divorced, I gave him a chance. I don't know how I was so smart as a kid. But like even when my parents got divorced, I gave him a chance because I thought, you know what, my mom's kind of like a button pusher. So like maybe he made a mistake and it got out of hand and he I don't know. Like I was trying to like kind of give him a chance. Like maybe my mom was brought out the worst in him, you know, or whatever. Maybe he'd be okay by himself and like
Hmm.
he needs, you know, maybe he needs to have his daughter in his life. And yeah, no, he got a whole new family, and I didn't really like any of those people.
Yeah.
And then, like, he was always very like hostile. Still, you know, he still had a lot of hostility
Hmm.
even after their divorce. He was very hostile, and it was kind of like sad to see that, but also I don't want anything to do with that either. And so, like one day, I guess he had kind of like gotten mad at my mom and dad, my mom and my stepdad, you know, like maybe it was just in his head or like I don't know what happened, but he like saw their boss and like just unloaded all this personal information on their boss.
Really?
And yeah, it was like not cool, you know,
Yeah,
like
that's something a woman would do.
right. No, this was something somebody with hurt would do, you know, like
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because I've seen the way he's hurt in the past, I don't want anything to do with that
Okay.
ever.
All right.
And they just let me know, like, and I was 19 at the time then. Plus, I was also married myself already, you know.
Yeah.
And I had a very strong husband who was like a very, he's a even to this day, he's like a very righteous man, very um, just real and honest. And yeah, he was like, I think you need to like make some closure with that situation. So he was right, and I went to my dad and I told him that I wanted nothing to do with him, and
Hmm.
that I just didn't really want him to ever speak to me again.
Okay.
I told him I didn't want him to think of me or speak to me or my parents, and to like leave them and their life alone and just
Right.
like back, you know. And I haven't spoken to him since I was 19. But
Okay.
it's like really no love lost because I never got to know him.
Yeah. Right.
I had two really positive male role models in my life. My grandfather was there with me. He lived like right down the street, like a couple blocks away. And then my stepdad walked right in when my like I had just a couple years where I didn't have a male role model because it was like
Hmm.
always my grandpa or my stepdad.
Good. 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 That's good. All right. So I'm going to get away from the personal, family questions a little bit, and I'm going to ask you some questions that I think I want to know, and I think people want to know, because when you're watching adult entertainment, when you're watching porn, you're not thinking. You're just, when a guy watches it, his brain is off. You're not thinking, and then that's it. So last night I'm writing down some questions, and I'm really going through. I must have wrote down 25 questions. But when you first broke into the scene, did it take when you first broke into the business? Did it take you some time before you blew up, or you blew up immediately?
It took me so long. It felt like, like first of all, I never lived in LA, which at the time was like a real detriment because like people would get called like last minute and just the networking that was happening in LA.
Sarah, I'm sorry. Hold on one second. For some reason, another Sara Jay popped up on this.
Well.
Do you see that?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if we can get rid of that. I don't know which one is you. Oh, okay. Let's see.
There's another you too. There's two yous and two me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Don't report. Good. Are we good?
Yep, we're good on this side.
All right. And you could see me. There's only one of me?
Yep.
All right, good. So, okay. Thank God for editing equipment. Okay.
No worries.
So you break into the scene. You're a young girl. You're 19, 20 years old. And did you explode on the scene right away, or it took you some time?
No, so all the work was being done mostly in LA at the time. I lived in Las Vegas, so I had to drive to work 4 hours,
Mm-hmm.
So I would like plan trips out there and do stuff like that. But I had to be very like proactive about, trying to shoot because it wasn't just being given to me because I'm in the area or I'm somebody's neighbor, or like we already hung out before,
Mm-hmm.
So there was, I did a lot less work than a lot of other stars in the beginning.
Okay.
And then also the fact that I am the way that I am at that time, like it, thick women were not appreciated at that time, like
yeah, all. Yes.
Like that's how I started out doing a lot of interracial right away, quote unquote, which I think that's what we called it back in the day.
But that's okay. It is what it is.
Because the simple fact that I was the type of woman that they wanted to book,
Right.
I did a lot of boob stuff. And then I did a lot of IR, which I was awesome with me. Like
IR?
That's totally fine. Like
what is IR?
Because like I was too thick for like any other type of scenes.
What is it, Sarah?
We're just starting. Like I remember I think MILF Hunter was one of the first MILF scenes that I did.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Like MILF scenes were just starting to pop, but the real kicker was when the internet happened.
Okay.
Like when people started watching porn online.
Okay.
Social media, those things were all really, I can say that my my career like definitely benefited from.
Okay.
Internet, because now people can watch what they want and
right.
not what their local store has.
Okay.
Right? Your local store might be owned by a white guy named Billy Bob with a beer belly and a mustache, and you might be like a fucking queer African-American, little person or something. You know what I mean? And they're not going to have like content to cater to you.
Right. Now explain, Sarah, what is IR? You said IR. What is IR? Oh, okay. So basically when the internet really blew up. No, that's okay. Basically, when the internet blew up is when you blew up.
Exactly. People get to shoot what they're watching, and then as soon as social media started popping, then people get to like see that we're all quantified by numbers.
Okay.
As soon as social media comes out, it's like, what's your number? Like how many followers do you have?
Yes.
I remember going into the Bang Bros office one day, and they had this huge whiteboard with a list of like the top 50 girls social media. And when I say top 50 girls, the ones with the highest numbers. That's how they were hiring people for a while and stuff.
Okay. So when you blew up on the scene, when the internet, when everybody started watching it on the internet, how did you handle that much success? Because you were still relatively young, I have to assume, at least early 20s, mid 20s.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes me
Was there a lot of party life? Was there a lot of party life?
Yeah, I did take advantage of it, don't get me wrong, but I think I didn't really take advantage of a lot of the privileges until like closer to 30.
Hmm.
But like 25, I was just trying to make the most of it. I was trying to get all the work, like I was going from city to city to city, doing photo shoots, doing videos. Like I'm here, like let's bring on the work because like I wasn't sure how long my bubble would last before it would burst. Like I thought I would just like keep at it and see how long I can make it.
Okay. Yeah, and that bubble still didn't burst.
I was like, you never really like totally sure at first. You're like, I better just do all the work that I want to do, and yeah.
Did you get caught up in the party life?
Not at all until like I was in my 30s. And I don't know if like the term caught up in the party life, but like I definitely partied for sure.
Okay.
Not like
Okay.
in an irresponsible kind of way or anything like that. As a matter of fact, like when I moved to Miami, I think that's what kind of maybe kicked it up a notch a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
I moved here around the same time I got divorced. So this is
Ah,
my
okay.
time being an adult, single porn star
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
city like Miami.
Yeah. No, what I
I didn't
mean,
even
what I mean by party life is, I mean, were there any addictions? Were there, anything like that? Nothing like that.
know,
Okay.
not at all. Like a lot of like late nights, early mornings,
Oh,
light skin,
okay.
maybe not going to bed sometimes, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. All right.
Being in a bush.
Yeah. 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 So here's an interesting question. Did you ever catch feelings or fall in love with somebody that you had to work with?
I like fall in love is like strong because like I don't feel like I view love the same way like a lot of other people view love. But as far as like catch feelings, absolutely. I look
Mm.
forward to catching feelings. I hope I can catch some feelings because if I can catch some feelings for you during our scene, they're all gonna see it, and we're gonna make a better product. So
Do you ever act on those emotions afterwards or no?
no, like I mean, if it works out and we get to have sex again, cool. If not, cool. But I'm not one to ever really like look for a relationship.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
not something that after I got divorced, that's not really something that I wanted to do
I
again,
see.
you
I
know?
see. Now
I
the opposite. Have you ever worked with somebody that you absolutely couldn't fucking stand and you had to make it work?
yeah, and then like you put them on your like no list because you really don't know. Like all have no list of people that you're not gonna work with,
Okay.
and sometimes you don't know until you're already there and you're like, oh, I never want to work with this person again.
Well, you don't have to name names, but what was it about that person that you were like, oh, this guy's going on my no list?
There was a guy that called me after um a scene. Like I'd done one scene with him, I think, and then he showed up on a set that was not his set. He was no business being there, and he wanted to fuck me before my scene, and I was like, "Get the fuck out! Like, what are you fucking crazy?
So he's like
Like,
a
what?"
stalker almost.
I don't know. Like, I don't even want to give him that much credit because I don't even think it was. Yeah, I just think he's just an idiot. So, I feel like stalker means like sounds so calculated, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah,
so
it's a very
yeah,
overused word. You're right about that.
he I dismissed him. To be
Okay.
going with you, I did my scene, and then like yeah, I don't know, like a day or two later, I get this phone call, and he didn't have my number, so I don't know how that happened, but I get this phone call from him just cussing me out, like
Really?
yeah, he was just like unstable. I think
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. It was just weird. But like somebody like that, yeah, they went on my no list like real hard.
yeah. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah,
What was
yeah.
um what was the most embarrassing thing that ever happened on the set? Something, whether it's you or somebody else, or something where it was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
I will tell you a personal story. It not only did it was embarrassing, but it also like kind of ruined my day. And I couldn't shake it. Like it was one of those things where I was like trying to shake it off, like it's over, it's over, it's okay.
I,
So it's just disgusting. I'm just
it's okay. Don't worry about it.
just warning everybody, this is about to be disgusting. If you don't want to hear it,
Fast
give
forward.
me like seconds.
Okay.
Live cam show. I'm in Budapest. and I started my period doing 69 on some girl's face. So like I'm doing 69 with a
Oh,
girl, and there's a guy fucking me. Like I'm doggy style, a guy fucking me, corner dance fucking me, and yeah, their Candy Alexa's underneath me, and I start my period all over her face.
oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. So what the hell happened? What did the girl do?
And we're live. We're live. We are
Oh,
live.
wow. And there's
Like,
nothing
but
you could do about it.
luckily, the camera was angled. It wasn't on that part back there. It couldn't see. It couldn't see that part. It was like coming from this way. So at least we didn't gross out any of the viewers. But we cut the. I jumped off and went away, and she jumped off and went away, and we were all like trying to clean and like
Wow.
I've never happened before, and I never want that to ever happen to anybody.
That is, yeah,
But
that
they
is,
were like super cool. Like everybody, and that's the greatest thing is like people in the sex industry are like usually super cool about shit like that. She's like,
okay.
don't worry about it. It's no big deal. Meanwhile, she's like,
Oh, it looks like a murder
yeah,
scene.
like I am totally worrying about it right now. I can't stop. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like wiping her up. I'm like,
Oh,
it's horrible.
oh my God. That
I
is a
did have
little
like a
crazy.
birthday party to go to afterwards, and I was like,
Okay. Wow. What, what is something that you will do, but you're not crazy about doing? And if they ask you to do it, you're like, all right, I'll do it. Like everybody who works gets up in the
feet,
morning and says, what is it?
feet.
Feet. All right, go ahead. What does that
Yeah,
mean?
like feet is not my thing. Like, but I'm not like horribly against it.
Ah,
I feel like I'm not good at it because I don't fully get the fetish,
okay.
and like also I'm not a huge fan of feet in general,
Mm-hmm.
but I will do it as long as the person that I'm working with truly loves feet. I need to know that you are actually attracted to my feet and not just faking it.
Wow.
Because like I need like the self-esteem to like move forward in this scene.
Okay, okay. And then the opposite, what is something that you absolutely love doing? Like when somebody says we're gonna do A, B, and C today, and you're like, yes.
Like blowjobs and threesomes.
Okay. Like all
Yeah.
together?
Like either one of those. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. Jobs, I love threesomes. They're
Now
fun.
threesomes with two girls or two guys?
Two girls usually works out the easiest, but if we can get one with two guys that is a good one, that's probably the best.
Okay. Okay. All right. I get it. Hey, wait, I have to thank you for your honesty. I know I'm not even done asking you half the questions yet, but I thank you so much about being honest. So you said there's a no list. What is there something that they offered you to do and it was a hard no? You were like, absolutely not. That's where I draw the line. No fucking way.
I don't do anal.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm sure you must have asked that a million times because one thing that you're famous for is the big booty.
Yeah.
Any particular reason why you won't?
I only do things that I like to do. So
Okay.
like
All right.
yeah, I make like a hard rule not to do things just for money, like you gotta do things that you actually want to do, even with the feet. That's why I need the other person to actually like my feet, because then for me, it's like I'm pleasing this person and that makes me feel good.
I see. I see. So there's still a lot of emotion involved in order for you to do a good job.
Yeah, but like I feel like that's what makes me do a good job. I'm not just like dialing in my job. Like no, I'm like really involved.
I see. I see. I see. Um, Speaking of fetishes, foot fetishes, what was the strangest one you ever took part in or witnessed or both?
What's the strangest one?
Fetish that you ever took part in or witnessed or both?
Um, there was somebody who like divulged like a secret and was like, I've been saving my cum in the refrigerator and I want you to feed it to me.
Holy shit. Oh, so this was just a private thing.
Yeah, it was just like some personal sex.
And it was this a relationship or somebody that just a friend or a service?
No, just a friend that you had sex with.
Wow. That is kind of, and I'm assuming you did it.
Yeah, sure. Like, eat it. I'll feed it to you. Sure.
Oh, it's a good thing I bought Pepto-Bismol yesterday. Wow. Holy shit.
No, I'm like a people pleaser, so it's like as long as I'm not like against it, like morally or like think have to do anything like really super disgusting. Like if you want me to
Mm,
do something, I'll probably do it. Like
mm.
if I want to have sex with you, like I want to make you happy, and I hope that you would want to do something to make me happy. That's kind of the way I think about it.
Okay, okay. All right. Let's see. What about fans? You enjoy meeting fans?
It's a mixed bag. Sometimes it depends on the fan, like sometimes they're horrible but most of the time they're wonderful, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like I would say like 85% of the time they're great
Yeah.
and so nice and have like such great things to say to you, and it's like, makes your ego all big and makes you feel really good.
Yeah.
But then like the other 15%.
Oh, wow. It's that. Wow. Okay.
Why you need security. The other
Uh,
15% is why you need
uh,
security.
yeah. So let me tell you, I actually did meet you once before, but you meet so many people, it doesn't really matter. I was at the convention in New Jersey. They call it New York, but they always have it in New Jersey every year, right?
Mhm.
And I went with my wife. I'm married, and in those conventions, I noticed there were three types of fans. Generally speaking, there were three types of fans. Okay, there was the couple trying to like spice up their love life, which was me and my wife.
Totally.
Then there was the young guys that got bombed at the bar and were like, yeah, let's go to the convention, and they all like there was four, five, six guys, and then there is the I don't know what you want to call him, the most intense fan. He knows
Fans.
he,
I call them super fans.
they know everything about you. They know everything, so on and so forth. Okay. So there was, I don't know her name. She's an Australian.
That's pretty good, by the way. Those three groups, you kind of nailed it.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, thank you. There's an Australian porno star. I don't remember her name. What's it? Yes, Angela White, right. And this was a few years back. This was before COVID, and she had just burst onto the scene. So she had to be, young, early 20s or whatever. And I noticed her with the guy. She was having a blast. She was having so much fun. Like she was taking pictures with all the guys that, the groups of guys that were holding her up and taking pictures. She was having a blast. And then I met you. I saw you. I actually meet her. I saw you and I was like, oh, told my wife I want to get a picture with you. And I walked over to you and you were very professional. You were like, give me 1 minute. I'll be right with you. And I was waiting there and you turned around and you said, okay, you want a picture? And you were like, $10 for a picture, $20 if you want my boobs out. And I was like, no, it was just the picture's fine. You took me a picture, shook my hand. That was it. Right. And very, very professional, very straightforward. But then you had like the young girls that were like balling out like that Angela White she was having. Is that what happens throughout the years? Is it like when you first burst onto the scene and you become, is it that much fun? And then after some time, it just becomes a job and a career and things you have to do. And it's nice, but you kind of going through the motions.
As much as I would like to agree with you that that's the way it is, it's not even that. The big thing that you're missing,
Okay.
Angela White signing at some large company's booth. She's actually getting paid to be there by the company.
Okay.
So like her hotel got paid for, her air got paid for. She got paid hourly, or like day rate to stand there. And she's probably getting paid to like host a party.
Hmm.
Okay. So her job is to have fun all fucking weekend.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay.
This is my company booth. I paid for my security. I paid for my photographer. I paid for my videographer. I paid for all the other talent that's standing at the booth. I paid for everybody to come. I paid for all their air. I paid for all their hotels. I paid for like everything.
Yeah.
And then I also need to make money. So I'm selling pictures with me. She's giving them away.
Right.
Paid by the company, right? Her job is to have fun. So I'm a business because I've got an overhead now that needs to be
Right.
across to meet the overhead. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it is very business to me, because like my situation is just different than hers. Like
Okay.
for example, for like a weekend, and they pay me like my flat rate, I'm like, whatever, like, let's just have fun, you know, because
Right.
then you're like on your hustle and you don't have to be concerned about like getting a certain amount back in order to like make this whole thing worthwhile.
Okay. Okay. Well, then that leads me into the next question. The difference between when you broke into the scene, right? You basically, the way you broke into the scene seems to be what a lot of girls did in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. You start dancing, you kind of want more out of it, and you meet people, and you kind of fall into the business, or you want to be in the business, and you finally make connections. What's the difference now? If a young girl, 19, 20, wants to go into the business now, how would she go about it now?
I think now she would probably get an OnlyFans and start an Instagram account
Mm-hmm.
and maybe do a little webcamming,
Mm-hmm.
get like a fan base and then maybe reach out to the companies that she wants to work for on social media.
Yeah. So
Put
you don't even have to dance really.
if they get any views, you know?
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So when you how basically porn is free though now. Like if I go on my laptop, I punch in whatever I want. I go to uh, Pornhub or X videos, and it's free. How does somebody like you or the website make money?
Actually, what's really interesting is it's just like a really tiny, small fraction of porn is free. All the
Okay.
rest of porn is like for sale. So
Okay.
you're just like a little sliver of porn.
Hmm.
Um, but I have websites that I make money off of. You know, I've got membership sites and stuff like that. I also have content. I have a production company, Wideside Productions, and we release content all different kinds of platforms, everything from all the different tube sites, which we get paid for, to like all the different clip sites, ManyVids, clips for sale, all this different things. We've got tons and tons of channels and platforms where we release content. So yeah, that's where a lot of the production money comes from. Is just like all the different places online where people buy content or they have memberships.
Okay. Do you also do webcamming?
Yeah, I do. I'm contracted with Cam Soda, and I also offer webcam for free if you are a member to my site.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So that's basically how today you make money. This are there still contracts with big companies, or you would rather be your own entity?
Contracts, like I know Brazzers does contracts still occasionally and stuff, but there's all different kinds of contracts now. They're not just like the old school kind.
And do you prefer being your own entity and working for yourself as you do now?
Yeah.
What is that? Do you enjoy that part of the business?
Yeah, I do. I really like directing and producing.
Okay. Which one do you like better? That directing, producing, being your own entity, or actually being in the scene?
Or actually, what?
Being in the scene.
Um, Different moments, different parts of my life. You know, it changes. It just depends on how my mood is. But for the most part, I kind of get a kick out of like, production, like setting up the shoot, organizing the shoot, getting everything like all dialed in. Even though it's like very stressful, I think I'm pretty good at it, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy like having the finished product.
Okay. Have you ever
Plus, I have
tried? Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I can't forget my great team. I got a great team and people that help too.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically you're your own product. Your name and you're your own product. And I've noticed that, well, I don't know much about the industry, but I've noticed that the women that embrace it completely become very successful.
Yeah.
Why do you think some women embrace it and some women do it and then they disappear and then they like then they you wind up seeing them on their podcast crying that they made mistakes in the past, and I'm not going to mention names, but you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, honestly, I think that it's a couple things happening there. Like maybe you just weren't morally okay with this to start out with in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't think it through. You didn't think that how it would make you feel. There's reasons why I have boundaries for myself within the industry because
Mm-hmm.
if I cross those boundaries, I might feel like a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there's also people that had bad management, were taking advantage of, and just didn't have enough knowledge and experience in business to have like a good experience.
Mhm.
Um, and it kind of makes me sad because those people are like the squeaky wheels that get the grease, you know? And then there, all the other good stories get like overlooked because you hear, you know, this this chick's like all her face is all over everywhere and only made like 12K. Like, come on now, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Is that story accurate, or you think she's full of shit?
no, she. I feel like that's totally accurate.
So she,
Absolutely.
okay, okay.
Yeah, but like that's because she was in a contract.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like you can't like if you're in a
She can't
contract.
maneuver to make money for herself.
And not only that, but like then okay, part of the one benefit of like almost all contracts is that that company pushes you and markets you that whole time that you're in the contract, right?
Okay.
So what she could have done is taken the name and the brand that they created for her and count that as money also and be like, okay, granted, I didn't really make that much cash, but I got this name now and now I'm going to take off with it and build my own shit.
So she didn't have the foresight you did.
No.
No. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Which is why.
Maybe the drive or the desire. Like you can't just like, you know, like some people just aren't business minded
That's
and some
true.
people also just don't want to do that, you know? They just wanted to like get fucked and get paid.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's the difference between, somebody who wants to work for somebody and somebody who just wants to go to work, right? I mean, somebody
Yeah,
who wants to go to work and somebody who wants to work for themselves. Sorry.
absolutely.
You mentioned something before, and it's going to. I asked the same question to Alexis Golden because this question fascinates me. You said before that your first scene, the guy couldn't get it up. How has Viagra, Cialis, the trimix injection? If anybody knows what the trimix injection, it's an injection that goes right into your penis, makes your heart immediately. How has that changed the business? Because I have my opinion, but I want to hear from the reality of how it changed the business.
So what's interesting is it's like I feel like when I started is also when it started in the business too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember maybe about 10 scenes in, I remember having sex with this guy on camera and the scene is taking forever. And
Mm.
why is he so red? And
Mm.
like, why is his dick unusually hard? Like, it is so hard. Like, all the tricks that I would normally do with double gawk gawk, it's not working. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot chop this wood. That's all I could think of. I'm like, why can I not chop this wood? You know? And yeah, that was my first Viagra dick for sure.
Ah, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, oh,
Because
okay.
you and I are around the same. You and I are around the same age. I'm a little
Yeah.
bit older than you. I'm 45. But when we were young, like I grew up in. I live in Jersey now, but I grew up in Brooklyn. And if I went, me and my friends would go to this little store on Third Avenue in Brooklyn, and it was a porn store, and you'd pick out your fucking favorite porn or whatever. And there was always the same five guys in every goddamn movie, right? And
Yeah.
then as soon as the Viagra comes out, it is an assortment of men. And it's almost like anybody could do it now. It's not even specialized. So
Absolutely.
okay.
So
So
at first it was like a little bit of an adjustment for everybody because guys were taking too much. They
mhm.
were throwing up and passing out and shit like that. And also the girls are like, why does my pussy hurt so much? I need to make sure I take lube to work tomorrow because this
Mhm.
guy might have one of those Viagra dicks, you know? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, it was definitely like a little bit of an adjustment period, I feel like. And then over time, everybody's got I feel like they've got it like so dialed in now
Mhm.
that like, and when I say dialed in, like everybody knows that you should never take a whole Viagra. You probably shouldn't even take a half one the first time. You should take like a bite of one. You know, like everybody already knows like what their little things are and stuff. And there's a lot more varieties of products out there too.
Mhm.
Like you said, like, you know, Trimax, Caverjack, whatever, whatever. Um, all the different pills and like the gas station pills and stuff. But a lot of these male enhancements or like, you know, pills and stuff for ED, like a lot of them are have been around a while for people to experiment with them. So I feel like now most people have it down and it's almost very important to have something with you if not already taken it before you go to work. Most guys do, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
And if you
That.
don't, like very few guys work natural. And then the guys that do work natural, they'll still have something just in case.
Because I remember growing up, like the guys you had to choose from in the 80s and 90s, they were not very good looking. They just were gifted, you know?
Yes, that made a huge difference. It's a very good point you bring up.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the guys started getting really good looking. Like, I remember like my first, like the first, what, like, I don't know, like 20, 30 scenes I did, the guys were like, meh. I don't want to say all the guys because some of them were very hot, but there was a lot of meh guys, you're like, whatever. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like much better looking guys.
Yeah, and much bigger, and all ethnicities, right?
Yeah.
It's just completely different now. I mean, when I was a kid, it was Ron Jeremy, it was Peter North, it was like three other guys that I can't even remember their names, but it was always the same freaking guys, right?
Yeah.
Here's an interesting question. Have you ever tried to venture out into another business completely separate from the adult entertainment industry, completely separate? And
Well, I
either,
just,
go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You can answer.
No, you go.
Oh, yeah. And were you ever denied either funds or a partnership because of the world you come from?
Aha, second half of that. So no. Short answer is no. But
Okay.
I did start a CBD business last year. Well, actually, the year before last, so 2 years ago. And the CBD business is also a high risk industry, similar to the adult industry in as far as like financials go and banking and stuff like that. So it even took me a very long time to get a merchant account for that business. But it had nothing to do with my adult stuff. It's just that's also a high risk business. Will I ever get out of high risk businesses? Damn, I do not know, but I think about that. I'm like, I need to find a non-high risk business, to get everything approved. But I've had a lot of other roadblocks caused because of the fact that I'm Sara Jay, adult star, and it just wasn't that particular roadblock. I've had everything from you know my account got closed on Airbnb, and my account got closed at Chase, and um, Tinder. Like, yeah, I get discriminated against like all over the place. Just
Except that they camouflage it. They don't say it's because of the world you're from.
right.
Okay. Okay. That definitely makes sense because that reminds me of the scene in Boogie Nights,
Yep.
when he goes,
Yeah.
right, and he goes to the bank and
I,
they
to be honest, I cry a little bit when I see that
say,
because
"Oh,
like we do get discriminated against like pretty hard, and because of what I do for a living, I at least I understand now that a lot of these businesses and banks and stuff are funded by right wing Christian, like family values type companies,
mm-hmm,
and they cannot fund adult businesses. Do
mm-hmm.
I like it? No. But it does, understanding like the whole picture, it makes me a little less hostile about it and a little bit more like accepting of it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is the way the world is.
What about, sorry, what about within your world? Sorry, give me 1 second. Is there any like age discrimination or race discrimination or anything like that? Like were there other women that won't do work with black guys, or are there companies that only want young girls 18, 19 years old?
Absolutely, all that. I mean, and a lot of it, you can get away with because of the nature of the business. But what's really you cannot get away with anymore, anyway, is pay discrimination because
Mm,
of like your ethnicity or whatever. Because or even like sex, like the difference when I started, the difference between what guys and girls made was like huge, like on one scene. And also the difference between like a white girl and a black girl, that difference was pretty big too. Like not
mhm,
huge, but there was a difference, and now like those things have started to all even out, and there's been
mhm,
some right added to the world for sure.
mhm,
um, and guys are getting paid much closer, if not the same as girls, which is kind of cool. On
So,
sweet,
so back then, guys would get paid less than the women, or vice versa.
sometimes guys would do that shit like for almost free.
Yeah.
Like when I would find out how much a guy got paid, I'm like, you gave him $100 in lunch.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, back then it was like,
Wow. And then, if you don't mind me asking, a scene, $100 in lunch for a guy, as opposed to what would the girl get?
like a girl might get like 1,000. Like back then, like probably like 800, 1,000.
Okay. And what? How is it now?
Now, like, it just depends on what you do during the rate you get paid depends on what you do during the scene and also like your level of um fame, I guess, because like, they take into consideration that you're going to promote it and da 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 da.
Right.
And a lot of things, girls also set their own rates too, or their agents set their rates for them. So
Mhm.
the rates usually for like a boy girl scene will range between like 1,000 and 2,000.
Mhm.
Like
So when if a company wants you to do one particular scene, what do you what kind of price do you demand from them?
so like I'm not gonna say that right now because
Okay, that's fine.
I would rather just like not everybody know what I'm making per scene.
That's
I
fine.
think,
That's fine. You don't have
yeah,
that's fine.
I don't know exactly why I don't want to talk about it, but like I think that it would be beneficial to me if I didn't say
That's
anything.
fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We can move on to something else. So when you go to work, here's a question that a lot of guys, when I talk to my friends at work, there's a question that a lot of guys were interested in. How does your work affect your personal life as far as sex go? Like, are you able to enjoy sex in your personal life?
I enjoy sex in my personal life so much.
Okay, okay. Please explain.
Yeah, I think actually just being like immersed in sex all the time just kind of makes me all the time sexy. Um, yeah, like I do it for work, I do it for play. Like I'm kind of like an expert in the field.
Okay.
I talk about it, I think about it, I look at it, I edit it. It's just I'm
Yeah.
like all the way involved in sex. And yeah, no, my off-camera sex is outstanding.
And is that because it's stress free? It has nothing to do with work. It's
Yeah, all
you know.
that. You don't have to worry about the lights or the angle or like, yeah. If you're tired, you just stop. You're like, hold on a second, I gotta go pee. And
Oh,
you don't
right, right,
like
right.
you can work at your own pace.
Yeah, yeah. Now, is it like are you dating somebody where it's just like you just enjoy that sex with that person, or it's like, okay, well, I have I date and like this one, and if I like this one, or if I like that one.
Probably neither one of those. Something a little bit less conventional. I have like what I would like to say like a rotation of friends that
Okay.
in and out of my life. But I will have to say, like, it's been working really good. Like, I've had a really solid rotation. The people that are on my rotation right now, most of them have been on the rotation for like 10, 15 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just good with my rotation.
Yeah.
You got to do rotation maintenance. You just got to, you can't forget anybody. You got to like check on them, make sure they're okay, and go like
Oh my
donate
God.
now and then.
That's funny. I would think filling your rotation is relatively easy since you're Sara Jay.
But because I'm Sara Jay, I'm not gonna just take anybody for the rotation.
I see. I see. I
You
see.
know what I'm saying? Like these are the cream of the crop. These are the best fuckers I could find.
All right. Okay.
The best fuckers I could find for my whole life, and they're on my rotation.
All right. All right. All right. All right. I only have a couple more questions and I'm going to let you go. We were talking about fans before. What was the strangest question a fan ever asked you?
Wow, there's so many of them.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of something recent because I really feel like I'm bombarded with strange questions like daily. Um, so I did a Skype session today.
Okay. All right.
And no, I mean it's like all the time, like constantly. Like extra shit, you know, like no pun intended. But yeah, he wanted to eat shit out of my ass. He was like, "Can I eat shit out of your ass if we met in person?" And I was just
Oof.
like, "Probably not."
Yeah, that's why I draw the line.
Just like, let's just wait until that day and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that is a strange question, a strange request. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Before, because now all these questions are coming to me, right? I know we're kind of bouncing all over the map, but all these questions are coming to me. Before, when you had said there was that one guy who was kind of like showed up at a scene where he wasn't supposed to be, and you put him on your no list. Was there ever somebody during a scene that you had to work with that did something, maybe intentional or not intentional, that turned you off so much you were like, never again? Not the person personally, but whatever.
Yeah. Just like it was like, yeah, it wasn't pleasant.
Right.
Um, okay. No, and I'll say that not that there wasn't a not pleasant moment. It's just that I wouldn't, if they didn't do it intentionally, I probably wouldn't put them on the no list. Like
Mm.
whatever it was, whether it was like, they might have had a little ball funk or something. I don't know. Like if it wasn't intentional, like I probably like wouldn't put him on a no list just for that. Like no list is pretty serious,
Okay.
like in my mind.
Oh, okay, okay. So
Yeah.
would you actually say it to him
My
as
no
next
list
time,
is
next?
short. I think there's like 2 or 3 people on the no list at the, not even three. There's like 2 people on the no list.
Okay, okay. Would you mention something to him? Would you be like, listen, next time you might want to wash your balls a little better?
Absolutely. Especially if I think that they're gonna be in the industry more, or I might run into them again, or we might have to work together again. Absolutely. I was actually contracted, a non-exclusive contract with Immoral Live for a year, and they do all their shows live.
Hmm.
And they always have brand new girls, and
Okay.
they found it very useful to have me there with the girls because they were about to do like it's all live. And
Okay.
so like I could check out the girls and be like, let's
Right.
go to the
Okay. I got it.
let's
And
show you some things.
yeah, let me, right. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
Okay.
gotta pull the toilet paper out of your lips first of all.
Oh.
Like I need to check out this rash. What kind of rash is this? Is this razor burn? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah,
Oh,
like
wow. Like I said before, when guys watch porn or even girls, it looks like it is just, but there's a lot. I totally forgot about the tissue paper in the pussy lips.
yeah, that happened.
That is really something else. All right. So two more questions, and then I'm gonna let you go because you've really been fantastic, really. Um, actually, three more questions, but you don't have to answer this one. If you do, no big deal. Do you know what your body count is by this point?
Oh God, no. I stopped counting after I think my husband was number 7, and I stopped counting after that.
That was it. So you think you're way into the triple digits by this point?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a low 4 digit. I don't know.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Over 500 for sure.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. um, what do you do besides work? Are there hobbies? Do you do things that calm you down that you would like to relax? Anything like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do yoga a lot. I work out.
Mm.
I weightlift. I was just looking around here. Somewhere in here, I got my Lego set. I make Legos. That's
Really?
yeah. I
Oh,
I have a new dog. I got a dog like a few months ago, and
oh, what kind
so
of dog is it? I'm a huge dog lover.
Boston Terrier, French Bulldog mix.
Okay. I have two pit bulls, and one is 14 years old and one is 13 years old.
Oh, they're so good. I used
And,
to breed bulls.
oh, really? And the 14-year-old, his name is Hercules, and all he does is eat, sleep, and shit now. That's it.
Of
Yeah,
course.
that's it. And his hearing is going. So somebody used to ring the bell and come to the door. He used to go nuts. Now he doesn't even nothing.
My last pit bull that I had, she went deaf her last like 2 years.
Yeah, yeah, it's sad, but you give them the best life you can,
Yeah.
you know. So what's the future for Sara Jay? What do you have in store for us?
Well, I still really enjoy doing production, and you know, I will perform too occasionally, but
Hmm.
I just started a new site, wideside.com, and I'm really gonna be working on just producing content for that. I think the
What's
next
it
couple,
called? Wide
that's my production company, WYDESYDE.
WYDSYDE. WYDESYD. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the description area. As
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a new site, and so like I'm just gonna kind of focus on that for the next couple of years, and
okay.
I got always have side projects and stuff going on, and then my CBD line. I really feel like we just got going with the CBD because like it took so long to get merchant processing, and now I'm in stores in New York,
Mhm.
and we're trying to get in stores in DC too. So to have my products in stores is going to be like a big move for me. Like I'm excited about that as well.
Now, is that also on your website or is that a separate website?
Yeah, you can actually just go to like sarajlinks.com and it's like the
Okay.
one shop for everything.
That'll also be in the description. So anybody who wants CBD or contact Sara Jay for anything, all her links are going to be in the description area down below. Um, Sara, I want to thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure, and your honesty was great. I greatly appreciate the honesty because it made a fantastic interview. And a lot of times, you interview people because by this point, I've interviewed hundreds of people on my podcast, and some aren't as honest as others. And the honest ones are always the greatest interviews. And I just want to tell you that I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you doing this. And much love, much respect. Um, and don't go anywhere. I'm just gonna hit
Okay.
stop and then we'll talk.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's fantastic.